We ask if you have any questions yourself, and we ask if there is anything that we might do for you.
We have a question from Daniel. He was wanting more information on the chemtrails, if possible, where they are actually being inspired from, and what is the true purpose of these chemtrails.
We find it very interesting the way the human population is so easily manipulated and quieted down. We see that these chemicals have been sprayed for many years now, and still you have a major part of your population that either refuses to believe that this is reality, or even worse, agrees that it probably is reality and simply moves on with their day thinking nothing of it. Because of this ambivalence and denial, governments and large companies have been allowed to run rampant. At this point in your history, they do nothing to disguise it. They simply put it right there in front of everyone, even creating shapes in the sky. And still people are thought of as odd if they think this is an issue. The few that are making noises about it are looked at as less than, are looked at as crazy. It is similar to the children's story that you have about the emperor wearing no clothes. It is beginning to be a topic people are asking about now. It is beginning to be focused on, but we fear it may be too little too late, as it has become a common daily practice nearly all over your earth. We understand this is not the answer to your question as of yet, but it is something we feel people need to hear. They need to understand that something is going wrong up in the sky, and that those chemicals are raining down upon you. We find it interesting that people see no correlation between these chemical trails being dispersed in any given area, and suddenly everyone in that area coming down with the same illness. We find it interesting that no one seems to see the connection between these chemical trails being laid and farming crops not growing as well, personal gardens not growing as well. They are working very hard to keep the quote organic garden from happening for they wish to control the nutrients the population does or does not get. This is also a manner of contaminating animals, contaminating soil, affecting the trees as the oxygen-producing source. There are all manners of effects that are desired when these chemical trails are sown through the sky. It is time for you to be aware as well that the sky is not the only place this chemical warfare is taking place on your planet. It is also moved through the water system. It is also moved through many different systems to produce it out into the air of one area or another. Much of it is scientific experiments created by pharmaceutical companies. Your planet is simply one big laboratory for many different industries. They no longer need to use, quote, laboratory tests. They simply test an entire area. They manipulate entire areas with illnesses, with malnutrition, with poor air quality, through these different chemicals moving through your air and water systems, affecting your food and your breathing and your drinking sources. We find it entirely possible that these inspirations come from other beings working towards a more acidic soil base and a more acidic planetary environment for the lower level beings thrive in a more acidic surrounding. Your planet is increasingly becoming more acidic due to these chemicals, among other things. We have ideas of sources that would inspire this sort of action. We know of certain beings that are currently looking towards your planet as a place of inhabitation. It is not as you would see in the movies, so we ask you to fear not. But we do see that without standing up to the government agencies who allow these things to happen, you are essentially handing over your planet to beings that would annihilate you through germ warfare, chemical warfare that you are unaware of even taking place. It is time for the people, as they have begun standing up in different areas of your world to different sections of the government and financial system, to also stand up and demand answers about the chemical trails and about the unseen dangers going on in your planet. We do believe that it simply takes a minor inspiration from an off-world being to manipulate one's mind. As we started out by saying, the human population is very simple to manipulate. It's imperative. Again, we come back to the fact that it is imperative to be certain where your inspirations come from and what is the true end result. If it in any way, shape, or form is an us and them, it is not from a higher space. There is no division. This council desires to breathe beauty and light and life into every area of the universe. As we see one become lost, as we see one begin to stumble and fall, this is when we come and aspire to work through those beings who are able to connect to that higher frequency, to get our message out to those who have forgotten their true oneness. For as we all remember our true oneness and the amazing beauty of light that runs through us all, we are no longer able to do devastation to them because they are us. We begin to remember that there is no separation, and we begin to work from a higher vibration. It is extremely important, and the time is now for your people to stand up, not simply in one country. When we say your people, we mean of the world. To stand up, demand answers about what is being sprayed down upon them, what is being put into the water systems, who is behind all of these different devastating activities, and how do you make it stop? We see a revolution on the horizon. You have so many people on your earth, and so few who are actually in control. If you can simply begin to turn the tides so that the many are influencing the few, and that you have more and more of your population connecting to their truest inner self, allowing that beautiful light from the highest of highs to flow through them, you can begin to turn things around, and you can live in light and health. Your earth is going through changes, and there will be many who shift along with her, but it is up to you as people who will stay and inhabit your planet. Will it be you in your evolved state, or will it be other beings who have influenced to the degree of devastating most of your population by manipulating those who believe they are in charge?